Hello, dear friends. We're happy to welcome you once again on another international discussion held in continuation of the conference that took place on December 4th, 2021, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth. This unprecedented historic event united millions of people all over the world.
Yeah, common people, volunteers from over 180 countries stood for the entire humanity, stood for the life of every human on the planet Earth. They have already become real heroes as they selflessly and devotedly voiced the truth.
The conference broadcast lasted for 12 hours, and during this time, amazing amount of information was voiced. Scientists shared their research dedicated to the true causes of climate change. Eyewitnesses of climatic cataclysms and refugees, people who were forced to become refugees, also shared their life stories. Tremendous amount of analytical data has been presented, and all this has been done by volunteers. And people truly stopped being silent during that conference.
Yes, and this conference, it caused unbelievable resonance worldwide. So much great, sincere feedback was received that it was clear that we need to continue voicing the truth. Thus, we invite scientists, experts, and all people to the international forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, that will be held on the platform of the Creative Society Project. On May the 7th, the entire humanity will take a next strategically important step forward. To learn more, please visit the creativesociety.com website.
And right now, I would like to introduce our wonderful guests of today's international discussion, our two speakers, one from Germany and another one from Pakistan. So, dear viewers, please welcome Stanislav Walter, Educational Assistant from Germany. Welcome, Stani. And also another guest, Waqas Abdullah, student, speaker, and DAG News host from Pakistan. Welcome, Waqas. Yes, thank you so much for joining us today and for the readiness to speak up and share your opinion on what is going on in the world right now and what we can do all together to change the situation. And before we start our discussion, I would like to suggest us watching a short video about the conference just to refresh some facts in our mind and, just to give our viewers a better understanding of what we will be talking about today.
Four months have passed since the time of the previous conference, and over this relatively short period, we have seen how much the progression of climate change and environmental degradation has accelerated. It's important not to remain silent because this survival of all humanity is at stake. It is time for the truth.
We are now in a world where every single day, somewhere in the world, a climate extreme event is going to take place that will break the world record of that particular place.
The European floods this summer or the Western North America heat wave this summer. Both of those extreme events were due to the jet stream reacting in very unusual ways, in ways that climate models did not predict would happen.
When I'm out in the field, I always hear people say that I never thought it would happen to me, and they're always surprised. Can you imagine how devastated you would be if you lost everything that you owned? If you watched the people around you, the people that you love, struggle and suffer or even die?
We have to understand we're one people on one planet, and it's up to us together to solve these problems.
we cannot leave it to our leaders. The leaders have shown that they are not up to the task. The leaders think of themselves as leaders of their own country. They don't care about the rest of the world.
The problem right now is we've all surrendered a certain amount of our power to centralized authority, and they're trying to use that to take over everything. And they've been using this excuse of anthropogenic global warming in order to try to consolidate their wealth and control. So we've got to just completely abandon and expose that.
The discussion about the climate is narrowed down to the reduction of CO2 and global warming gases. And I think the problem is much broader than that.
There's a widespread belief that climate change is a result of human activity. This is reflected in the 5th and the 6th report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. But these beliefs are wrong.
The world's governments, through the UN, formed the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. Now, you would think that would be studying climate change, but they specified that you study the human causes of climate change. So they ruled out all natural factors. They said, no, we're not going to study whether the sun plays a role. We're not going to study whether volcanoes play a role. We're not going to study whether ocean current shifts play a role. And we really don't understand clouds, so we're not going to count them much. What we're going to study is human CO2 emissions, because that's what we can get a handle on. That's not the way science is supposed to work.
Anthropogenic global warming is a grandiose scientific scam of the 20th century.
Green energy is not green at all. And wind power is not green because wind farms require enormous amounts of concrete and metal to construct, disturb wildlife, harm human health with noise pollution, kill hundreds of thousands of birds each year, pollute our air and water supply. We pay high prices for something that will never meet our needs.
We need to build a humanity that lives like a beehive, and we have to build a society that puts human life first. If we combine our scientific, technological, and intellectual resources, we can solve the problem of climate change.
If we fail, we face the real possibility that if we don't get our act together and start preparing for this cataclysm, we face the very real possibility of extinguishing human life on the Earth. A supervolcano is quite capable of completely taking a species out. And I say, if we come together correctly, if we really put our hearts and our minds to the task of preparing correctly, then we could not only survive what's coming, we could be the first species on this nice little blue marble to thrive through the next cyclical destruction.
Let's follow the Creative Society's survival guide. The 3 easy steps. Learn more, spread information, and unite to build a creative society.
After all, this world is given to all mankind with only one purpose: to live and be healthy, happy, to create and not to destroy.
The Creative Society is a project of everyone. We do not collect any donations or funds that disappear in the deep pockets. Instead, each person acts in their abilities and uses resources they already have. It is your opportunity to be a part of the solution and live out your superhero potential.
That was truly unprecedented event for the whole humanity. And I have a question to you, Stani. Stani, could you tell us, please, how meaningful it was for you personally? How was it important for you to hear this information that was presented at the conference? And what struck you the most? You know, what impressed you? Maybe, I don't know, what made you even cry?
Thank you for the question. I have been watching the whole conference, and actually a lot of stuff which was presented I already knew, but there was also so many things I didn't know. And actually everything was really important and cannot be ignored anymore. But the thing which struck me the most, and where I have to be honest, where I also had a teary eye in multiple moments, was when the topic was about children. I also work with children with disability right now, and it isn't even new. I already saw a lot of documentations before, and sometimes I have the feeling that you see something so horrible, and like one day later, it's already out of your head, or you just can't grasp the impact and you can't stand it anymore to see all this absolutely horrible and devastating things. I mean, there was shown that little girls are already being sold at an action market in some countries, or that children don't even have the possibility to get clean water or education. They will go to a dirty water place and drink out from it, and they will get sick. And I already, even before I met the Creative Society, I have seen all these things, and I was always had in mind, why is no one doing something? I mean, it is shown all the time. And maybe 2 or 3 politicians are talking about it and writing down 2 or 3 sentences. And of course, I had also this thought that, who am I? I'm like only this small person, right? How can I change the whole world so that every child on earth has the possibility, like maybe the children were in the country where I live in or next to us? Is there any condition why this one child should have the possibility and the other one not? I mean, every child in the whole world should be treated the same and have the same opportunities and be safe and feel loved and be with their family. And it just is breaking my heart that everyone is actually knowing that there is this huge problem and nothing is getting done. So that's why it was also one of my main reasons to join the Creative Society, because I have the feeling that this is like our only option right now and our only hope to actually make this change. We actually have to change the whole society we are living in right now, because otherwise I can't think about another solution how we want to attack all these problems. I mean, and what I was talking about is only like the surface. There's also 8 million children are gone missing every year. And if you go into this rabbit hole and look for some more information, you will get into a very dark place, but it's happening, and it's happening to every child. It could even happen to a child in your country, right? So we have to defend these children, and children themselves, they are so vulnerable. They can be taken advantage of by nearly every adult. And that's why I think it's a responsibility of the adults to speak about it and to not close their eyes anymore, to defend them and to change the world we live right now. And my dream is that maybe someday everyone is thinking like me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stani. Thank you for sharing this. And I completely agree with you. And as for me, I also was watching the conference from the beginning till the end. And this information struck me the most as well. And understanding that right now, we as adults, we as people who live right now on this planet Earth, we have this possibility to change the way everything is going right now in the world. And we need to take this responsibility, and we need to do something about it for the betterment, not just of us or our children, but for the betterment of future generations to come. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also, I would like to address to Waqas. Could you please share what moved you the most when watching the conference, and how important the information that was voiced during the conference was for you, because together with the unexpected facts, unexpected information that was painful at times, how important was it for you to find out the real solutions of the problem that we face right now as humanity?
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me the time, for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with all of you and with the family of the Global Crisis Channel over there. Actually, the thing it is, I'm literally flabbergasted to saw that a lot of the things which is shown earlier by you, that the peoples that have mentioned about the climate change and all other the topics which is related to the humans. The thing it is that why we are not taking too much seriously these things. There is a lot of the topics in the world that we are ignoring that because we believe that these are not essential things. This is the big problem by our mindset right now, because I'm still working for many months on the climate change. I'm highlighting the different topics. As you know that I'm working with a channel on social media like DAG News. I'm highlighting the different topics around the world. Actually, the thing it is, there is that every topic is an essential for us. We must have an effort to cover the topic, because when we saw the global crisis, time for the truth, it's really an icing. But it's a really piece of cake for me to share the views and introduce the peoples with the different countries to counter them. The arguments over there. Actually, we know that the world is full of the difficulties and the global challenges. Every difficulty is increasing day by the day. Neither difficulty is coming. There is a global challenge that is growing day by the day, and there is not enough effort to control it by all the states and around the world, and different organizations also working for that. If I had a chance to resolve a global challenge, that is the plastic wastage over there, because we can see that it's an era of industrial revolution. That everywhere the industrial revolution are making an effort to provide the plastic pollution, which causes the major cause of it nowadays. Global challenge, also known as a plastic pollution, because of its challenge that is growing rapidly and eating our alluring nature, which is life of alluring nature, like animals, birds. This global challenge is the imminent threat to our human life also. So which life is in our alluring nature, animal, even living and non-living thing, is a really excessive fragile situation for the developing world, for our future children, for our future. In every year, plastic pollution causes harm to the humans, animals, and the plants through the toxic pollution. It can take hundreds or several, even thousands of the years for plastic to break down, so the environment damage is long-lasting. Its effect all the organisms in the food chain for many tiny species and the plankton. So the whales and the many oceans over there. So in the ocean, there is a many species going to be extinct, because we are not forcing that the plastic pollution and the different pollution is the major part nowadays. We can see there is a world is dividing into the developed and underdeveloping countries, which is the major cause. Which situation make us fragile? Because when we make the different policies according to the different states, we can say that that's the situation. Why this is a big dilemma? This is a big dilemma actually. Why make any propose for any solution for any state? Why can ignore that this is a developed state or this is the developing state? Because when we propose a solution to any state, which is a major part for that a state that who are already developed, who are economically stable, so they have enough money to implement their situations over there. We have different solutions. We have different proposals. We can see that different around the world, like Pakistan, we have million solar tree over there to stop the climate change. We can see in Saudi Arabia, they signed the different treaties with Russia, like Green Project. We can see in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, they are working to control the climate change, also trying to eradicate different pollution aspects. But still, why we are ignoring like Africa, like other underdeveloping states? they're also seeking to us for help. If we want to secure the future of our generation and the future for us to, and also secure the different species like animal and the different over there, because why we are not thinking, why our leaders are not thinking about that, we are not blaming to anyone, but this is the harsh reality of the current era. We are eradicating the forest. We have a several example like Brazil, like Amazon's forest, they are being cutting down. Why? Because of the air pollution, because the species are being extinct over there. If we want a secure future of our children, if we want a healthy life for us and for our generation, we must thought about the solution. We have several solutions that related to the current situation as we considering. And one thing we assure that, and one thing I want to mention that by using your platform, that why we not think about the teeny solutions, teeny problems, because one day the tiny problem is going to be a major. So we must highlight this problem, because a lot of the problems like climate change, over pollutions, and a lot of the things we are not taking too much seriously. And this is a fragile situation, which make us fragile day by the day.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Waqas. And at the conference, of course, we touched great number of problems of the modern society, of the world, and we won't be able to cover all of them during today's international discussion. But as Waqas, you touched this topic of the pollution, what I suggest that we watch about a 12-minute video, which is worth watching, which was presented at the conference, and this video is about the garbage mafia.
Garbage mafia. As soon as non-biodegradable and toxic garbage appeared in the world, so did those who make money on it. The garbage mafia. How does a garbage mafia operate? Italy.
My brother-in-law was transporting garbage. He told me all about the profits you could make in this field. So I said, pardon me, we risk so much dealing drugs and we can't even make that much money. 30 years ago, I told the magistrates that waste is gold. It's money, money, money.
Cosa Nostra, Camorra, Drangheta mafia clans buy territories and convert them into waste dumps. And although on paper everything may look legitimate, in general, these territories for landfills are located near residential neighborhoods and violate all environmental norms. An important part of the garbage mafia's business is the illegal transportation of industrial waste. If a company wants to get rid of its toxic waste and pay as little as possible, it hands over the waste to the mafia. And instead of being disposed in a proper yet expensive way, this waste is hauled away and then disappears.
I put the waste in this landfill. As we finished here, we filled that one there. There, it looks like lush wood, but there is a dump underneath. After filling up those ones, we filled the other ones. From there to there. There's everything here. Hospital waste, radioactive waste, urban waste, sludges, oil, and so on. There's everything.
Nuncio, what is this doing to the people that live in those houses?
Cancer. These people will all die of cancer. The groundwater here is all poisoned. Every family here is infected. Everyone. No one will be spared. They're here because they don't have any choice. They don't have any options to relocate. And they're forced to die here.
In Naples and the surrounding Campania region, environmentalists count at least 1,200 small and large illegal dumps. The amount of phosphorus, mercury, and arsenic in this region exceeds the established norm by 400 times. According to medical statistics, people here die of cancer twice as often as the national average. By controlling landfills, the mafia not only receives disproportionately inflated profits, but also has the ability to control cities. As soon as they ban you from bringing garbage into their landfills, the city turns into a dumping ground.
An average landfill can produce about 150 to 200 tons of film each month. We don't buy it at high prices, i.e., it's in the region of 13 to 19 cents per kilogram. Accordingly, you can multiply that same 100 tons by 13 cents. We'll take the minimum. Well, that's the profit only from polymers. Waste paper is now trading at around 20 to 27 cents per kilogram. Precious ferrous and non-ferrous metals are even more expensive. That's why people are like sitting on a gold mine there. Yes. Well, no wonder it's called the garbage mafia. You can't just get in. There is a huge income and people will never give it up for anything because these people are sitting on a pot of gold. Getting permission to use this land for a garbage landfill is extremely difficult. If we establish some serious organization, serious landfill, put the right equipment on it for sorting and all that, then I think we will quickly be visited by bad people and some inspections. My friends at one time bought an incinerator. They operated it for 3 months. Then men came in black jeeps and simply forbade them to work by threats and intimidation or something else. They just took over this garbage plant and that's it. And my friends washed their hands of it and said, "That's it. We will never get into this business again."
These are individual cases, but aren't these the same schemes we see at the global level? Garbage migrants from one country to another, poisoning the lives of millions of people. And all this happens in the shadow of private agreements. No morals, no ethics, purely business. Indonesia. In 2018, imports of plastic into this country totaled 283,000 metric tons.
The distance between the landfill to my house is about 500 meters. My whole family, my relatives, everyone is affected by the noise and smells.
60 to 70 containers arrive illegally every night in the city of Brangkeng in Indonesia alone. Garbage, which is then found in landfills, is brought in from Australia, Germany, and the United States. Most of the time, it is sorted plastic mixed with hazardous waste. Malaysia. The once beautiful country is now covered in mountains of garbage and dozens of illegal incinerators. Manufacturing companies in Japan, the United States, Germany, and Australia is bringing their refuse to Malaysia.
My daughter was a very healthy girl. Since April, she started having a fever. Her state worsened, and she started spitting up blood.
Most owners of illegal factories rent land from local residents and build primitive ovens where they dispose of garbage for money, with no concern for the environment or the people who live nearby. Turkey. Since 2004, Turkey's imports of garbage from EU countries have nearly tripled. The main exporters of this garbage are Britain, Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, Slovenia, Italy, and France. A big part of the garbage that enters Turkey is not recyclable and is simply dumped in landfills.
European citizens need to know this. Clean streets in Germany, in the United Kingdom or France, where people sort their waste carefully. Well, it doesn't end up in recycling facilities. As you can see behind me, it's here where there are mountains of illegal waste.
Africa. Custom officials in poor African countries are unable to monitor the thousands of containers that come in from around the world every day. Often they are accompanied by false legalizing documents. Almost all of the e-waste or barrels in these containers are filled with toxic materials. They are accepted in these countries without too many questions asked. A small bribe allows any refuse to be smuggled to its final destination, an abandoned beach, a forgotten stretch of coastline, untouched waters turning into a dangerous radioactive ocean. This ain't garbage, it's waste for some, but for many in these countries, it is place of work, life, and death. Ghana, Egbokloshi landfill, the world's largest and most dangerous electronic waste dump. More than 200,000 tons of electronic waste from Europe and North America are brought here every year. Kenya.
It's like the dump site has demons who ask for blood. There are days when there is just too much evil, seriously. You hear of people killing each other. Someone stabbed someone else with a knife or killed someone with a bottle. Sometimes you also hear that the trucks...
Alang Ship Breaking Yard is the biggest in the world. The government and the contractors make a lot of money. But there are two major problems: the environment and working conditions.
Here, on 10 kilometers of the beach, 40,000 people take apart half of the abandoned ships from around the world. With their bare hands, piece by piece, day after day. They have no protection for hands, feet, or head, or no modern tools. There are no ship plans, and they don't know at what point or how a ship might suddenly collapse. They cut metal knowing that the next cut could cause an explosion. Half of the companies in the world don't want to pay for clean ship recycling using the modern technology. It's too expensive. Instead, they sell them for scrap. Indian buyers make a profit by reselling the steel. Alang is an environmental disaster. And at the same time, it is the biggest metal recycling in the world today. Similar dumps are found in other countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan. The price of this kind of ship recycling is human lives.
I have been breaking ships for 14 years now. My father was killed in a ship-breaking accident. The only thing I'm afraid of in the yard is death itself. I know this is dangerous work, and I am afraid because I have 2 children and a family.
We have never produced as much trash in our history as we do today. Garbage is dirty, it smells bad, but money doesn't smell. So in our consumerist world, there is always someone willing to take money off it. Storing refuse, fictitiously recycling it, or transporting it from more elite places on the planet to indigent is just business. A business in which the strongest survive. A business from which all life on the planet and man himself are slowly dying. A business that each of us sponsors every day. Can we stop it? Continuing to support the consumerist format of society? No. Because now all conditions have been created in order to earn huge money on such frauds. But we can change the format of our society from the consumerist to a creative one. When the 8 foundation of the creative society are adopted at the constitutional level in all countries, such schemes will be impossible to pull off. Because the main value in the whole world will be the life of human. In such conditions, there will be no place for all this dirt on this planet and in relations between people. Any business will be built only on improving people's lives, not on our death.
question is, how can this happen at all? This is just unbelievable. Waqas, for example, we ordinary people, we spend our time, we spend our effort, we wash plastic, sort rubbish, and then somehow magically, just 5% of this rubbish, sorted rubbish, is recycled. And then the rest is again mixed with other rubbish, and not just on a common landfill, but in the ocean, in the sea, in rivers, in forests. It is exported to other countries, and it appears in illegal landfills right under the windows of poor people who give birth to their children in these landfills, where these same children live, where they work from young age, and unfortunately, where they die. They die from poisoning by harmful substances, they die from cancer, and they die from our indifference. But why? There are so many cool ideas on recycling, on reducing the use of plastics, on reuse. There are so many cool specialists, so many government programs, so many foundations that deal with environmental issues, and so on. But for some reason, the issues of rubbish, of plastic pollution are not solved. They are still there. And on the contrary, the situation is getting worse and worse every year. The question is, Waqas, is it so difficult for us, for humanity, to solve the issue of rubbish and plastic in particular?
Yeah, actually, the reality is our lungs on fire right now, because I saw the several videos through you. I'm still working on that topic. The reality is that we are working for a profit. We are working for a profit. And this is a harsh reality, actually. Because the thing it is, when we think about the garbage mafia, which is you mentioned by the earlier, they are the goons. They are actually have money makers. They didn't have any emotions related with him. But why we not talk about us? We are their buyers. We buy the different things from them. We buy the plastic bottles. We buy the other things. We make the garbage. Why we are not thin? There are different steps related to that dilemma. Actually, one thing it is, why our governments, which is like I'm talking about the democratic governments like Pakistan, like American over there, we have different solutions as well. Like when we talk about the Pakistan, they are having a recycling policy. They make the rules within a plastic bottles. Even in India, have different policies, but they are developed nation. They are not even poor, like where you mentioned by the Ghana, Africa, and some underdeveloping countries. Our lungs on the fire when we didn't have any enough policy to come out from this dilemma. Actually, when we talk about these things of the garbage mafia, we have several examples. When we talk about the Karnataka in India, I have a friend over there. I talked to them. We are working on both on a plastic problem. They mentioned me an earlier thing, a lot of the things that related to these things. Actually, our future is fragile because of this. The pollution has been increased day by the day. As I had mentioned earlier, we have not enough policy. We collect the garbage, or we burn that, or we put into the sea. But if we burn the garbage, this will make us our climate change. The major cause of the climate change is they have a different diseases to come over there, like cancer, which is mentioned by your video. We have an eyesight problems, having a different over there. If we put into the sea, there's a different species where they can eat. They become the major cause of the species extinct. There's a different species are being extinct due to our poor policies. Our poor policies are the major cause of our health disaster, because we call that we are not a punching heck, because our government has not made the different policies. If we can see that around the world, they didn't have to make a different policy, because yes, we are not criticizing anyone, but this is the reality that the garbage mafia has a strong relation with the governments. Because in a democratic country, or whether they are a monarchy country, we have a different relation with the different governments. Without the government support, no one can do anything. This is all about the money maker. They are only the smell the profit. They didn't follow anything. They didn't follow any our solution and other things over there. That's why the garbage mafia are increased the day by the day. As mentioned earlier in your video, the person said it that we are smuggle the different things, but we didn't have enough money. While in a garbage, the garbage mafia is called of a land of a gold. This term is used only for the garbage mafia because they make a lot of the money in the different countries. They make in a different country. They are damage our lifestyle. They are damage of the beauty of our country. So why didn't have the different countries to make over there? I want to mention that again, that we are not taking seriously these steps. While we can see that when the worlds are going to be in a conflict, there is a USA make different policy over there. USA make a different organization over there, like United Nations Security Councils and other over there. But we talk about the climate change and the pollution. Why United Nations Security Council and other countries? We are not criticizing, we are not targeting anyone, but we want to mention that why you are not, these countries are taking the several steps to eradicate, to eliminate these things, to control the garbage mafia, because these mafia are increased day by the day with the support of the goons of the states, because they didn't do anything with the goons of the state of their permissions. They take it money, they buy money, and they do only for the profit. And that's enough all from my side.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. And to summarize a little bit, basically from what you've just said, we understand that the reason for all this is our consumerist mindset. You know, this the thing that right now, on the first place, the first priority in society is money, profit, and benefit no matter what. And this is truly a thing that we need to work on. We need to change, because right now we were talking about the garbage, right? About all the rubbish that we have. This is the issue that we, as a society, as a humanity, all together can solve, and can solve really easily once we all understand and take this responsibility and understand that we are the ones who have to clean up ourselves, you know, after ourselves. We are the ones who have to take care of the nature, because nature is truly our guardian and protector. And if we take a look at the climate change, if we take a look at the climatic cataclysms that are happening all over the world right now and will be happening in a much bigger scale, they synchronize in their intensity, and they also synchronize in their power. And this is something that we as humanity cannot influence on, but we can cope with it when we are united, when we know that we need to help each other. And actually cleaning up our planet will be also a great helping hand in that. So thank you so much, Waqas, for sharing that. And right now, I would like to suggest us watching another video on the topic that we already mentioned a little bit in the beginning. It was mentioned by Stani, and this is a really hard topic for me personally, and for, I think, all people as well, because this is the topic of refugees, of slavery. You know, when I was watching the conference, I couldn't believe my eyes when I was hearing these facts, that we right now in the 21st century, such a developed human civilization, and we still have slavery. We still have such a thing as, selling people, human trafficking, and things like that. So right now, just to refresh these facts in our mind and just to give our viewers a better understanding, let's watch a short video, and then we'll proceed with discussing this topic as well.
Why is there such inhuman treatment of people? I was thinking about it and decided to figure it out.
will never spend a month without being attacked with a xenophobic attack, because they say as a foreigners we are stealing their work. I've lost that hope of being in the great society. I don't know, I've lost that hope, because seeing the way that people are being killed, seeing the way that people are being shot in my eyes.
A child can be sold many times. I remember one day I came across the story of a girl who was, she was Turkish. She had been sold 17 times, and she had been trafficked from one country to another 17 times, and she had experienced only rape.
I also sat in many auctions as a customer, as an undercover when I was doing the undercover. There where we were sitting for the auctions, 9-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, as per the demands. So the trade called the first time sex. Whenever the auctions will happen, new girls arrive in the trade, so they put the auctions. So who will bid the last demand, the money, that person only will use that victim full night for his choice.
The business that is made of spare parts, the human spare parts. How many children have been transferred from one place to another and then being operated on for some rich guys in different parts of the world to get a kidney or get something else from their bodies against their will.
Black market, traffickers, mafia is part of this economy that is ruling the world. So what else I can say? That I only see that another possibility is to spend money instead of constructing walls like we are doing in Europe.
In our society, human life has no value. How is it possible that instead of help, people encounter violence, aggression, abuse, and slavery? This is not a migration crisis, but this is a crisis of humaneness.
People, by looking at the existing legal frame, will not ever be entitled asking for protection. Because you will ask them which country you're coming from, they would say there's no country. I had a country called X, but the country now is underwater. Or I had a village and this village is being totally destroyed or disappearing.
It turns out that there are still no effective programs for the resettlement of refugees. For so many years, the United Nations has been working. For so many years, the Refugee Rights Commission has been working. So many humanitarian organizations and NGOs around the world have been working, but there are no working, established or adopted programs on how to work with these refugees. There are none. And the Refugee Commission itself admits this.
Now refugees are forced to leave their homes. They face condemnation and cruelty. They are left alone with their misfortune because of the consumerist format of society. Tomorrow's climate catastrophes could be upon us as well. Answer yourself honestly. Are you ready to face what refugees face? Are you sure you won't be in their shoes? That you and your loved ones won't have to go through what they're going through.
That was a hard video to watch, and even right now with every international discussion, when rewatching the videos like that, it truly, touches my heart. And we understand that these are very painful topics, but we need to know this truth, because without knowing this truth, we cannot search for solutions and we cannot change the situation. And covering our eyes and pretending that nothing is happening won't give us a helping hand in that, for sure. And right now, I would like to address to Stani. you know, just like I mentioned before, we consider ourselves as the crown of evolution. We consider ourselves as highly developed intellectually and technologically civilization. We explore oceans, we fly into space, we create virtual universes, right? We waste, or let's say invest, trillions of dollars into creating weapons, into creating ways how to kill each other. And we also do some research. But guys, let's truly wake up. How come in our world we let such things happen? Right now, like literally right now, there are some of us, there are some people in the world who are refugees, who are not even considered as human beings, whose life doesn't matter at all. And how come do we let this happen? How come do we support this? There are markets where children are being sold for unthinkable types of slavery. There are farms where women are grown and children are grown for organs, as we just heard and saw from the video. And why do we humans allow this to happen? Just think about that. And why don't we understand that all the statistics of people who are missing, the statistics of people who have died, that these are real lives of real people, just like you and me. And Stani, what do you think? What is the true root of this problem? And why is this happening right now in the world?
I have understood from the videos I have been watching, and already understood this for a very long time in my life, that money is the most important thing. You can buy literally everything with money. Everything you can think about, you can buy that with money. And the way you get to this money, a lot of people don't even care. If you are killing someone or making poisonous stuff in the ground, it doesn't even matter. The most valuable thing for a lot of people right now is money. And then a question comes into my mind, like, can we even call ourselves even more human? I mean, what has this world become? It's if you know all these facts, then you're like already woken up. But I have the feeling a lot of people, they still don't even know what's going on in this world. And as long as they are having a good life and their children are safe and everything is fine, they can make party and buy a new house or something like that. For them, the life is going well, and they don't have to worry about the rest of the world. I myself have been the type of person, I'm very world orientated. I have never thought that one nationality is better than the other, or whatever you call it. And the thing which is happening with the refugees right now, I mean, it's just unimaginable. It could hit every one of us every day. The climate is not making excuses for any one of us. And then the next question comes into my mind. I mean, there is one specific topic which is talked over and over day and night right now in every country. I think everyone knows which one it is. I just won't pronounce it right. If I imagine if this videos we are watching right now and this information we already know right here would be broadcasted in mass media day and night, how could we change, or how quickly could we change the world we are living right now? I mean, the people just need to get this information to them. And I think there are a lot of good-hearted people out there, and we just need to connect to each other and make this world a place we can live freely and in love and for everyone. I mean, we have the technologies and we have the possibilities to do so, but why we can't do so is because there is some organization or guy or whatever controlling all this stuff, or mafia. So how can we small people fight against this stuff? So we can't. We can only if we all come together and try to change the world into this vision and dream we all have, because we all want to live healthy and with our family and to be safe. I mean, it's not a surprise. The 8 foundations of the Creative Society, I haven't met a single person who was telling me, no, this is like crap or something. It's just what every human is desiring deep down in his heart, and we have to find a way, otherwise we cannot call ourselves human anymore. And those people who know already about all these problems and are being silent, they are also the part of this problem. So if you know all the stuff, then we cannot keep being silent anymore, and closing our eyes is also not going to make anything better. So it is really the time now to act up and to inform others. Otherwise, it will be a very gruesome ending to all of us. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Tani, thank you. Thank you so much. We did forget about who we are. And it seems that we pronounce word money more than we pronounce word human nowadays. Yeah. And this shouldn't be like this. We should focus on who we are and live according to this. And as it was shown at the conference, in order to overcome all common threats and all existing threats, we need to be united. Only through unification we'll be able to find solutions to every single problem. And in order to find this, we need to unify all our human potential. You know, we need to unite all our scientific potential. And the sooner we do this, the better, because it looks like quite soon it can be too late for all these actions. So we still lack overall unification, yeah? And in your view, Waqas, what can add to this overall unification of people? What can we do? What do we miss? You know, why are we so divided right now? What should we do in order to be united in very short time?
Oh my God, it's a time let the cat out of the bag, actually, because we saw the videos as related to the human trafficking. This is really a been harsh reality of our society today. It's really inevitable. It's really excessively inevitable for me to say that we are a developed nation, that we are living in a modern world. Actually, by seeing this video, it's inevitable to me to say that. Actually, I want to say that we are living in the age of in a cold age right now, in ice age. So because when we see these videos, the human trafficking, we are making the harm, even while their people are lying, they are being trafficking over there. I done several programs on the human trafficking in the war zones. There's a big lacuna over there because the women are being sexually harassed. They are being make them by prostitute. They are being hanged. They are being raped. They are being trafficked. In the human trafficking, every person of age, whether they are a woman, whether they are a man, whether they are young, whether they are adults, they are being trafficked. There is a big question mark on an international organization that who had funded highly to stop all these things. But the reality is these things are growing day by the day. And this is a big question mark on the different organizations who are funded highly to stop all these things. There is a big ring because when the human trafficking occur, not even human trafficking occur. When the trafficking occur by a person, their dreams are being crumbled. They are being banished at that moment. And this is the big lacuna, because we eradicate their life, their aims, they are crumble their aims. They are not able to tackle the fight with the different scenarios, with the different things that the world. This is a big question mark. We are talking about the human trafficking. Why we are not talking about the buyers? Why we talk about the sailors only? If we have talked about the sailers, whether they have a buyer, that's why they are human trafficking is growing. And this is a big question mark. Why every time we arrest the sailors, the person who sail the humanity, the person who sail the emotion, the person who sail the each and every person, the person who sails the children's, the lives, the living persons. Why we not talk about the person who buy the lives? Why we not put the person into the prisons that who buy the peoples? This is a big question mark on our government policies, because every time you can see it, I work with the different people that who are connected with the refugees camp or visiting the refugees camp, who had talked about the migrants. Even I visited the Afghan migrants over there in Pakistan. Even I visited several countries over there. We can see there's the living person over there. We make their lives so difficult. There's a different aspects. I put my two incentives to it. There are different aspects as related to the trafficking over there. We can see the different realities. Really, I share my personal experience with all of you that there's a different people that who sell their children's, because they have enough money, enough food to eat, enough money to buy the food for their livings. They sell their children. This is a bit harsh reality. There is everything, every aspect have the different scenarios. We can see the different scenarios. If we ignore the different scenarios, these things will be occur. I want to mention that the different organizations that were funded highly by the powers of the societies, the power of the states, that the only work for their organization to stop the human trafficking in the war zones. But these things will be happen when we sell a person, when we sell a individual person, whether they are children. We must show that we are crumble their dreams, we are crumble their life, we are crumble each and every moment of their life related to connected with these people. This is called to be an icing of the cake for the peoples who sell. Why we not talk about the buyers? We must an equal imprisonment and equal policies for the buyers, because this is a thought trend in Asia. They have the different buyers related to the child slavery, that who made them the homemaids over there. They punish them, they kill them. There's no one to raise a voice for them. That's why these things will be increased day by the day. We must, I must to say that if we talk about the sailors, we must talk and target the buyers and punish them. In this way, we must eradicate these things. If we are not talking about directly to eradicate these things, because these things will be happen from the years and the years, it's not easy for us to eradicate one thing in a 1 minute or in a 1 day or in a 1 year. But we must take a strong step to stop these things will be happen in the world, because this is all about the humanity. It's a big chain, which is I don't know how we can stop it, but we must promise ourselves, we must promise, and the rules of the society must promise their step to take even one step to stop all these things. We can stop the crumbling and crumble the dream of the children.
Yeah, definitely. There is nothing good to tell about the current state of things in our world, whether we touch the problem of refugees, or whether we touch the problem of pollution, or whether we touch the huge problem of the climate change, of the real climate crisis, climate catastrophes. So nothing good. But the only good thing about all this is that we finally know the solution. The only solution is through our real unification. Yeah. And in order to be united, we should inform everyone of the fact that currently millions of people worldwide are looking in the same direction. They are looking for real solutions. They are looking for our common future, you know. So please, those who haven't watched yet the conference, please watch it. And the solution is very well explained at the conference.
Yes, thank you so much, Alexei. Thank you for sharing this, and also Waqas, thank you so much as well for emphasizing on the importance of directing our attention to real issues that we have right now in the world. And right now, Stani, we hear many people, like there are many people in the world who ask the question, what can I do? Right? Alexei just mentioned that we already have a solution, but there are still some people in the world who don't understand what is their importance in this whole process, right? Of creating a world where each and every person would feel comfortable. There are people who say, I'm just a teacher, or I'm just a nurse, or I'm just an accountant. How can I change the society? How can I change the world? So what can you tell to those people who still didn't watch the conference and who don't really understand how they can change the situation that we are in right now? What would be your suggestions to them?
I had exactly the same thoughts and feelings as those people right now have. I always wanted to help, and I've seen all the negative things which were going on in the world, but I never thought I could really make a change. And I was like for several years now searching for something. I didn't go into a special organization or group because I'm thinking like, or always thought like globally. I don't want to support only my country or this country. I want to create a world where everyone on this planet is living like me. I mean, I'm not better than anyone else on this planet, and everyone should be having the same opportunity as me, no matter where he was born, and no one is choosing where he wants to be born. And I mean, I really was scrolling YouTube and just seeing the conference exactly the same day it was broadcasted, and I was like tuning in for fun, more or less. I was doing something else, not so important in the meantime. And then when I started to watch it, my feeling has been growing that, oh my God, this is the thing I have been waiting or searching my whole life. These are the people who are thinking like me, who want to make the world a better place and for everyone. And it took me like, I don't know, I have finished the conference. Okay, it was 12 hours long. I couldn't watch it in one go, but after work, I kept on watching. And after I finished, I immediately pressed the I want to take part button on the website, and I didn't even think about it a lot, like because there is nothing else I have seen so far in my life which has these goals. And after connecting to the creative society, my belief only grew more and more. So those people who are not sure yet what to do, I would tell them to first, of course, inform yourself about the creative society. And if it's suited for you, and I believe it's suited for everyone because the creative society is for everyone. But of course, it is your choice after all. There is no pressure behind it. And everyone is a volunteer. No one is getting money or anything. And we are all doing it just from the bottom of our hearts. So yeah, and I think as long as we live in this consumerism format, there is no good to be made, or all these solutions we have right now, they won't get through. Like, because there are so many stones and blocks in our way right now, and we have to make a huge change to the whole society before we can help everyone on this earth. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stani. And I think that the first steps have already been done by the volunteers from all over the world, and also by ordinary people as well, the people who participated in social surveys and people who shared their opinion of the society where they would like to live in. And thanks to this research, the 8 foundations were formed, the foundations that basically give us a chance to change the vector of development of our society from this consumerist format to a creative one. Dear friends, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Thank you for sharing your experience and your ideas. Dear Stani, dear Waqas, Alexei, thank you for truly speaking up, for raising these topics, and for not being afraid to tell the truth openly and honestly to the whole world.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kate. Yeah. And of course, we should thank our dear viewers. Dear viewers, thank you for being with us today. And, we are looking forward to your comments, topic suggestions, and questions for the next international discussions. You can contact us, as always, via YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter pages of the Creative Society Project, as well as email us at info@creativesociety.com.
Yes, and also we would like to remind you that very soon, on May 7th, 2022, this year already, in a couple of months, there will be another huge event held by the volunteers of the Creative Society Project. This event is organized on the platform of the Creative Society, and it will be an international forum, online forum, global crisis where people we want to live. And I can say for sure that the participation of every person on the planet Earth is vitally important. If you know some information, if you have become an eyewitness of the climatic changes or anything like that, or if you would like to participate in preparation for this conference, please contact us. And also, if you would like to just join and watch, you're more than welcome to do so. And if you want to find out more information about this forum, please visit creativesociety.com website to find out what will be the topics that will be raised. And I can say for sure that right now is our chance. Right now, the humanity does have a chance to make a huge evolutionary leap towards our great future, flourishing future where every person would feel happy. So why don't we take it? Why don't we do this step to make sure that our children, our grandchildren, and future generations would live in a happy world?
And to have such a nice future, the truth needs to be known, because only by understanding the truth can we start acting. If you are still asking yourself, what can I do? The solution is simple. For a change to occur, we need to act together as one unified community. So friends, please join a huge international friendly team of volunteers of the Creative Society Project, and let's become real heroes together.
Have you met true heroes? Probably the first thing you think about is the heroes from Hollywood movies. But have you met heroes in real life? True heroes are among us. It's just that their superweapons are open hearts, a desire to serve people and help every person on the planet, and the courage to voice the truth to the whole world. They do this not for money and not for the sake of glory, because true heroes are ordinary humans with a capital letter H. The event that took place on the 4th of December, 2021, have brought together thousands of such people from all over the world. The worldwide conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, went live in 100 languages of the world in order to reach the heart of every person on Earth. The broadcast lasted 12 hours, backed by 3,000 hours of dedicated and hard work of a dozen teams and thousands of human heroes from around the world. Someone said that it's impossible to implement such a thing, but all of us together, we did it. Friends, this means that we will also be able to implement the most important thing for which we take action to change the world for the better and to make the creative society a reality. In this video series, we will show only a very small part of the events behind the scenes during the preparations for the conference.